This video is going to be all about how to write an equation or an inequality from a story problem. In order for us to get started making an equation, we need to know what parts make up. So an equation basically is made up of three parts. We have the total amount, we have a one-time amount, and then we have a repeated amount. So if you've had equations before, the one-time amount, this is going to be your constant. So I'm going to add this word. That's what I'm going to call it, the constant. The amount that gets repeated a lot has a letter, or it is your variable. That's the word I'm going to use. And then your total amount is what goes at the end of your equation. It's what goes by the equal sign. Okay. Some clue words that you might come across when you're doing your equation in the story problem. A fee is something that happens one time. What you start with or what you begin with is also a one-time amount. Then the variable, some clue words. Per means it's going to happen over and over and over again. Every and also each are good clue words. So an example down here at the bottom, 5x, I'm going to label that with a V for my variable. 15 only happens one time, so I'm going to label that with my constant. And then the 40, whoops, got to get back on my highlighter. The 40 was the total amount, and that's what is at the end, which I know you guys will be great at that. Then in the next example, the variable this time isn't first, which is okay. It can come second. This one has a subtract sign in front of it. It needs to go with it. That also represents a negative quantity. So I'm going to put a V here for variable. And then the constant of 50 that happened only one time came first this time. And again, the number at the end is going to be your total amount. Underneath, you're going to see these extra letters. This letter M also is going to be the amount that gets repeated a lot when you get later in algebra. And in some different situations, you might have mx plus b. It could also be written backwards, and it could also be a subtract. But for us today, we're going to focus on the words variable and constant and total. Here's our first example. It says the cost to rent a canoe at Silver Lake is $12 plus an additional charge of $4.50 per hour. If Sarah spends $39, write an equation that could be used to determine the number of hours she rented the canoe. So all we're going to do is write an equation. We're figuring out where the numbers go, if they're a constant or a variable. So when we start this one, it says the cost to rent a canoe is $12. So my rent fee is $12. I'm only going to pay that one time. So that is going to be my constant. And you can't see that blue very good. That's going to be my constant. Then as I keep going, it says plus an additional charge of $4.50 per hour. Since that says it's happening over and over and over again, every hour that I keep it, that is going to be my variable. And then it says she spends, which means that's going to be her total, $39. That's going to go out by the equal sign. That's my total. So now what basically it's looking for is, let's label out the amounts individually. So the total we just got through saying was 39. The one-time amount, I'm going to, the one-time amount is going to be our constant. And then the repeated amount is going to be my variable. Okay. The constant amount was the $12. The variable amount was what was happening each hour, so $4.50. Then we're going to put them all together. Remember, the repeated amount is the one that gets the variable next to it, so I can use an X. It doesn't matter the order you write these in. So I could say $12 fee plus $4.50 each hour. So that's my times. And it equals the total she spent of $39. That's basically all I do. Up at the top, it did say what it was asking for. It's asking us to write an equation. Okay, second one we're going to look at, it says Billy has a gift card with a balance of $150. He buys several video games that cost $35 each. After the purchases, his gift card has a balance of $45. Write an equation to help us find out how many video games Billy bought. So again, what is it asking us for? It's asking us to write an equation. We're trying to figure out the number of video games. So basically, write an equation for the number of video games, if I want to say the complete answer. Then as I'm reading through, it says he had a balance of $150. He has right now $150. That's his starting amount. So that would be my constant. Then it says he buys several video games. When you buy something, that means you're spending money. Okay? Spending money is going to be a subtract. And it says they cost $35 each. So buying means subtract, because your gift card is going to have less and less money. And then the $35, that's going to be my variable. Then it says after the purchases, his gift card now has a balance of $45. So this would be my amount at the end. This would be my total. Okay, so filling out this information below, the total was $45. The one-time amount, which is also called my constant, was $150. I'll switch back to blue. The repeated amount that happens over and over and over again was 35. Okay, that's my variable. Now I just put these together as my equation, but because it's a subtract, it matters the order I put these numbers in. So I started with $150. Then he spent or he buys some video games that cost $35 each. Afterwards, his card has $45. So that's how you set up that equation. So we also can have inequalities, which means I would use a less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Everything is the same. The only difference is I'm looking for these clue words that tell me which one of these symbols to use. So kids in my class, you guys have these words in your journal notes. So when we get ready to do our story problems, I'm going to be trying to identify any of these words on this page to know which symbol I should use. So we have our less than sign. We have our greater than sign. Then I have my less than or equal to sign. And I have my greater than or equal to sign. So pay close attention to, especially these words that also mean equal to, because some people get those confused and they do them backwards. Okay, So we'll refer back to this chart in just a minute. So when we're writing an inequality, we're going to do exactly all the same steps. The only difference is we have to look for the clue word to tell us which inequality symbol to use. We still have a total. It goes by the end of the equal sign. I still have my one-time amount, which is going to be my constant. And then I still have my repeated amount, which is my variable. Okay. Then our clue words again. If you have a fee, if you have a starting amount, or what you begin with, could mean your one-time quantity. And then per, every, and each are still our clue words for identifying the variable. Here is our first story problem. It says a video game enthusiast saved $750 to spend on an Xbox One and some games. The Xbox One cost $400. The game cost $49 each. The games cost $49 each. Write an inequality to help determine at most how many games the enthusiast could buy along with the Xbox One. So what is the question asking for? It's asking me to write an inequality. So I know how many games he bought. Clue words. When we're looking for the clue words, it says write an inequality to help determine at most. So there's our clue word that we're looking for. Let's see, I'll do this in black. At most. So if I fill that in, clue word, at most. And then double check my chart. The word at most. At most, right here. So that gets me a less than or equal to sign. At most is the word I was looking for. So that means less than or equal to. That's my symbol I'm using. Less than or equal to. All right, so if I go back in, it said he saved $750. So that is the amount, that's his total. Which might seem a little weird that it came first, but it's okay. The total amount is $750 he has to spend. Then when I keep going, it says an Xbox One cost $400. I'm only going to buy one video game console. I'm not going to buy 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 video consoles. So that would be my constant. My constant amount is $400. I'm going to spend it one time. Then it says each game costs $49 each. So there's my clue word of each. That is going to be my variable. $49 each, and I'm just going to go ahead and put an X next to it. So now at the end it says put all this together and make an equation. So the Xbox One costs $400 plus every game he wants to buy, so $49 X. Then the sign that I'm going to use, remember, was, the sign I'm going to use was less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. And he only has $750. At most, if he spent everything, $750. So that's how you would put those together.